Good morning, friends of Riverbend United Church. I'm glad you've tuned in for worship this morning or this day, whenever you're watching, from wherever you are. We are an affirming congregation of the United Church of Canada, which means no matter what, you are welcome here. So thank you for tuning in. I trust that you have clicked the play button here in the YouTube realm because perhaps you belong, you know that you belong in this community of faith. It is your spiritual home. Perhaps you are seeking some sense of meaning in these crazy days, a sense of meaning that moves straight through the difficulties and challenges that we and our world are in, straight through the fear and the anxiety, and brings a sense of eternal faith, trust, meaning. I hope you gain something of that, whether it's community and belonging, whether it's seeking and finding, whether it's a word of grace you need today. For whatever reason you came, I'm glad you're here. I want to say thank you, special thank you to Matt Schoenhart, Doug Spanner, Carolyn Miller for last Sunday's reflection. If you missed it, it was a panel conversation. We tossed around the story of Jesus turning water into wine, his first miracle in our scriptures. We tossed it around and sought meaning for our lives in it today just by conversation. I really enjoyed hearing what they had to say and the perspectives. So if you missed it, go into the YouTube channel and find it for last Sunday if you so desire. For now, I invite us to take a breath of the Spirit, to remember that this too is the day that God has made, and we are gathered to rejoice and be glad in it. Our introit is, we gather here. We do gather in the room and the space of the Spirit. Let's sing together.
We gather here in Jesus' name. His love is burning in our hearts like living flame. For through the loving Son, our passions us as one. Come take the bread, come drink the wine, come share the Lord. No one is a stranger here. Everyone belongs. Finding our forgiveness here, we in turn forgive all wrongs. He joins us here, he breaks the bread. The one who pours the cup is risen from the dead. The one we love the most is now our gracious host. Come take the bread, come drink the wine, come share the Lord. We are now a family of which Christ is the head. Though unseen, he meets us here in the breaking of the bread. We'll gather soon where angels sing. We'll see the glory of our Lord and coming King. Now we anticipate the feast for which we wait. Come take the bread, come drink the wine, come share the Lord.
Good morning. I'm Sharon Hoekstra. We're going to start this morning with our call to worship from Psalm 19, verses 1 and 2. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament proclaims God's handiwork. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night declares knowledge. We gather to listen for the glory of God. We gather to seek wisdom. We gather to give thanks for the bounty of earth. We gather as the community of Christ growing in love. And our opening hymn, This is God's Wondrous World.
God's wondrous world, and to my listening ears, all nature sings and roundly rings the music of the spheres. This is God's wondrous world. I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees, on skies and seas. God's hand the wonders wrought. This is God's wondrous world. The birds their carols raise, the morning light, the lily white, declare their Maker's praise. This is God's wondrous world. God shines in all that's fair. In the rustling grass or mountain pass, God's voice is everywhere. This is God's wondrous world. Oh, let me ne'er forget that though the wrong seems love so strong, God is our ruler yet. This is God's wondrous world. Why should my heart be sad? Let voices sing and heavens ring. God's wings, let earth be glad.
Good morning, everybody. If your children aren't with you now, please grab them for a special children's lesson.
Good morning, everybody! Thanks for joining us today for Children's Time. Today we are going to sing the song, the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. So, Adelaide and I are going to show you the actions, and if you guys at home know it as well, can you please sing along and do it with us? That would be fun and fantastic. Okay, Adelaide, can you start us off?
You put your right hand in, you
Take your right hand out,
you put your right hand in, and you shake it all about.
You do the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your left hand in, you take your left hand out. You take your left hand in and you shake it all about. You do the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Yeah! You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out. You put your right foot in and you shake it all about. You do the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your left foot in, you take your left foot out. You put your left foot in and you shake it all about. You do the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your head in, you take your head out. You put your head in and you shake it all about. You do the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your whole self in, you take your whole self out. You put your whole self in and you shake it all about. You do the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Yeah! That was fun, hey?
Yeah.
I hope you guys had fun at home as well. So, what about if we were doing the 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and your left hand refused to go in and said that it only wanted to go in as the right foot? Or what about if your head said, I can take the part of the left hand, the right foot, the left foot. I can do it all by myself. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, that's really not possible, right?
Yeah.
All parts of the body make up the whole self, and no part can take the place of another part, right? Each part is a separate entity. So every person is an important part of the church, just like every body part is an important part of the whole body, right? So in saying that, we all make up the body of Christ because we all play an important part. And we all have special gifts. What are some special gifts? We have pastors. Some people are teachers. Some people help heal. Some are nurses. Some help others. Maybe even the gift of creativity. Some are given the gift of good listening skills, and some are given gifts that are totally different. What was God's gift that they have given you, Adelaide?
Imagination and crafty.
Those are some pretty awesome gifts. What do you think you can use those gifts to serve others?
Or like playing on the walls with my neighbor.
With your neighbor?
Yeah.
And the gift of creativity, you can use that gift to make really nice cards. You made some pretty nice Christmas cards this year, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's awesome, Adelaide. Just like God gave us hands, eyes, ears, feet to meet the needs of the body, He's also given different people different gifts to meet the needs of the church. So thank you for listening to our lesson today, and we'll have a little prayer. Dear God, thank you for giving us special gifts. Help us to remember that each of us is an important part of the body of Christ. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Thank you for joining us. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Walk with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and all for the new life of morning. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Move with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and all for the new life of morning. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way. Dance with the Spirit early in the morning. Sing with the Spirit throughout the long day. Work and all for the new life of morning. Listen to the Spirit to show you the way.
Our scripture reading this morning is from 1 Corinthians 12:12-27. For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. For in the one Spirit we are all baptized into one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and we were all made to drink of one Spirit. Indeed, the body does not consist of one member, but of many. If the foot were to say, because I'm not a hand, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. And if the ear were to say, because I'm not an eye, I do not belong to the body, that would not make it any less a part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the hearing be? If the whole body were hearing, Where would the sense of smell be? But as it is, God arranged the members of the body, each one of them as he chose. If all were a single member, where would the body be? As it is, there are many members, yet one body. The eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of you, nor again the head to the feet, I have no need of you. On the contrary, the members of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. And those members of the body that we think less honorable, we clothe with greater honor. And our less respectable members are treated with greater respect, whereas our more respectable members do not need this. But God has so arranged the body, giving the greater honor to the inferior member, that there may be no dissension within the body, but the members may have the same care for one another. If one member suffers, all suffer together with it. If one member is honored, all rejoice together with it. Now, you are the body of Christ, and individually members of it.
Thanks, Sharon. So, as you know, we've gone to a new garbage collection system here in Edmonton, right? Last summer, fall, we started that. And I don't know if you experienced this in the beginning. I'm apparently a bit of a slow learner because quite a few times, embarrassingly, my garbage or recycle or food bin wasn't picked up because I didn't follow the rules. Instead, I received this, big card with a bold note with a checkbox on which rule I had violated in placing my garbage out and what I need to do about it next time. So on those days it wasn't collected, which of course helped me learn faster. Once there was a little bit too much garbage and the lid wasn't quite closed. That was my error on that day. For the record, even 2 inches above the line of the lid closing is too much. Another time, I had placed my bin too close to my neighbor's bin, so the next time I moved it and then it was too close to the fence. For the record, you may have no less than 1 meter between any object and your bin. I learned well. Another time, the cardboard boxes I had laid out to be picked up by recycle, I had flattened them just as you're supposed to and stacked them, but my violation was that I had not bound them with tape or cord. One time my recycle bag wasn't tied closed, so they didn't take it. I got the nice note, the big bold card with the checkbox, must close bag. It didn't matter if it was I who left it open or a bottle picker who left it open. I had violated the rules and it didn't get picked up. Every single time of my learning last fall, yes, it's embarrassing, upon seeing that big bold note tied to the bin or the bag, I smiled. I really did, because I figure, isn't it about time the garbage collectors of the world have this power? For decades, they've been picking up our garbage, our refuse, strewn about or who knows what, without a word. And now they get to have a say. Now they get to tell us what they need from us. I love that. Okay, maybe I exaggerate. Maybe it wasn't every time I got the card that I smiled, because I remember once when the bin was so full that the lid wouldn't close, it was only picked up every 2 weeks, right, the garbage? And I thought, oh my gosh, another 2 weeks full. It was already full. So not every time, but I still felt a sense of justice in it all. It somehow seemed right. And that might be why I loved a certain video that came out just around the new year. It was an event that happened on December 21st in California, of this past Christmas in California. of a little boy, 4 years old, who waited every garbage day. He would go out and wait for the garbage truck. And just before Christmas, on December 21st, the driver of the garbage truck brought him a gift of a toy garbage truck. And the reaction of the little boy and the garbage collector is just so beautiful.
For me, so I figured I'd get you a little something, little man.
Oh, nice.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That's awesome.
Enjoy it.
You don't thank you. Oh, hey, thanks a lot.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
How you too? Wow, that's pretty neat.
When the driver gives the boy the gift, he says, "You're the only one who ever waits for me, so I figured I'd give you a little something." Ah, it broke my heart. Here he is going day after day collecting garbage, and the little boy is the only one who is ever out there to thank him. There might be a lesson in that for us. In these days, we are all learning patience. The garbage collector doesn't take our garbage because we didn't do it right. That's okay. An item we need is out of stock and we won't get it for months. That's okay. We have to wait longer in line at the store because the store is short-staffed, because someone's out from either being sick or being a close contact of someone who's sick and is in isolation, and the store is short of staff. That's okay. We've all grown keenly aware of our healthcare workers, and we watch as hospitals ask housekeeping staff to fill in for some roles that other healthcare professionals do, to fill empty staffing slots. And we've watched as retired doctors and nurses are called back into service, almost begged to come back to help, and teachers, how now, if you have at least in some places, if you have a high school diploma, you qualify as a substitute teacher because they're so short-staffed. Not all of this is happening in Edmonton, but we've all seen stories of it happening around us. The supply chain is busting, with ships stacked up in ports because of a lack of workers to unload them on the docks. Suddenly everyone's saying, gosh, I guess we really don't pay those guys enough, do we? And people are beginning to question. That's my phone. That's unfortunate, but I'm going to keep going. I forgot to silence it. We were all beginning to question how just our pay of workers is now that we need everyone, all hands on deck. And young people are beginning to question what it means to work 9 to 5 and what they really want to do with their lives and where they really want to find meaning. Everything is in question, and everything is stirred up right now in our world systems, right? We all know this. The roles of our world are in disarray or being rearrayed. Everything is on the table. Having breath and not having COVID are new standards for doing many jobs. And along the way, it seems to me, we as a world are losing our elitism. We are appreciating workers of all types far more, and justice is showing a whole new face. We're no longer able to take people for granted, not that we ever should have, but now we simply can't. We're grateful that there is a clerk at all in the store to check us out. The scarcity of personnel available to keep the world running has us appreciating the variety of people and the variety of gifts needed throughout our world to keep this giant global machine humming. Everyone is needed. No one is dead weight. We are truly all in this together in a new way. It seems to me that that's always been the case, but now we are taking notice worldwide. It's the same in our Earth's ecosystems, right? We've all heard how much changed when wolves were reintroduced into Yellowstone, how that affected the entire ecosystem. The whole system was affected. We've learned how every natural organism and every natural system ultimately relies on the bees. Upon the littlest is the kingdom built. From the tiniest onward, our whole system of life is built. Every last particle of the organism of life is needed. This, I believe, is part of the message Paul is trying to get across to the people of Corinth in the letter that Sharon read a bit ago. The Corinthians are a new community of followers of Jesus. Paul got them started, and then he went off to somewhere else, and they started, arguing. It seems they were judging each other, proclaiming which of them was more important, and they were creating hierarchy. And Paul is trying to rein them in from this. In both of his letters to the people of Corinth, Paul is instructing them in theology and in the practice of faith. So in this 12th chapter that Sharon read, Paul is addressing their self-importance. He likens their community, our community, to a human body, saying every part is to work together. Each has a vital role. Indeed, he says, the members of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable. Everything of life stands on the littlest, like the bees. Friedrich Buechner reflects on this passage in saying, for Paul, Christ didn't have a regular body anymore, so God was making him one out of anybody he could find who looked as if they might just possibly do. God was using other people's hands to be Christ's hands and other people's feet to be Christ's feet. We've heard that around here for many years, that we are the hands and the feet of Christ. This is what Paul is trying to tell the people of Corinth, that every part of the body matters. Every part of the body, the community, everyone matters. In the church, there are those who are interested in Bible study, those who want to serve meals or do dishes or make cookies, those who like to sing, those who enjoy making phone calls or sending cards. In the church, there are those who quietly serve behind the scenes, for instance, changing our sanctuary decor, or setting up microphones or folding bulletins. There are those who like to learn, and those who serve as lay reader like Sharon for our worship. There are those who serve in leadership, in committees, making decisions for the sake of the whole. And there are those who share financial treasures. And there are those who pray. It's all the same. None is greater than any other. It all has matter. It all matters. All of it makes the church go. Similarly, every bit of every part of humanity makes the world go. And of course, not just humanity, but we are interwoven with all the parts of the earth. It's one giant system of life integrated with the atmosphere and the cosmos. It's quite a miracle, if you ask me. About the garbage collectors, I think it's high time they received our thanks, our gratitude, had our attention. Maybe we can all find someone this week who's part of the system, who gets overlooked, find them to thank them. Faith is the great equalizer. Everyone is sacred in the eyes of the divine. Paul is telling us that we cannot do this thing called life, or this world, or this church alone. Thankfully, we don't need to, and we're not. The hymn we're about to sing is called Shadow and Substance. The second verse of it says, "We are your image, formed in community, sisters and brothers of Adam and Eve. You gave us color, custom, and history. Teach us to honor what others receive." We're all in this together, and every particle matters. May we honor the gifts of the earth. May we honor the gifts of each other, not only in the church, but in this vast world, no matter how great or how small seem the gifts we bear. They all matter. Amen. Let's sing together Shadow and Substance.
Shadow and substance, wonder and mystery, spellbinding spinner of atoms and earth, soul of the cosmos, person and energy, source of our being, receive of your word. We are your image, formed in community, sisters and brothers of Adam and Eve. You gave us color, custom, and history. Teach us to honor what others receive. Naming the nameless, spirit of unity, scanning the heavens for signs of your care. God of the ages, give us humility, guide us to mystical union in prayer.
For our time of prayer this morning, I invite you to hold in your heart those in your own life and in our community and in the world whom we all know are in exceptionally challenging times. And as we hold them in our hearts, I also want to share a prayer about winter time, the gifts of winter, the sacredness of winter, the invitation of winter time. This is written by Joyce Rupp, and I'm adapting it, and I'll share that with you now. May we listen for your gifts of winter, O God. May we listen to the seed hidden in the earth, to faith rising out of doubt. May we listen to the need to believe without seeing. We are listening. May we listen to this season of contemplation, to our world's need for reflection, to all that waits within the earth, to bulbs and seeds, to deep roots dreaming. We are listening. May we listen to the kind permission of this season to rest more often, to reflect more deeply, to pray without words. We are listening. May we listen to our dreams and inner visions, to the songs of a better world, to the unknown that is wrapped in the mystery of this life. We are listening. May we listen to the quiet life in winter's womb, to brilliant winter sunsets and lovely frosty mornings. May we listen to snowflakes flying through the air, to bare trees so lovely in their emptiness, to one leaf that never did let go. We are listening. May we listen to winter handing over to spring. May we listen to the sacred poetry of winter with its sacred invitation. We are listening. In the name of the Christ who rose and rises from darkness into light each moment. Amen. Sharon is going to invite us to share our gifts.
We're going to take a minute or two to talk about stewardship. When I donate to the church, it makes me feel good. There are lots of benefits to be reaped, but there's also lots of benefits to be given. Some of us give weekly with money or checks, or some of us e-transfer, and some of us use PAR. It doesn't really matter. All donations are used by the church in mission and service to help the poor, the needy, the wounded, the ill, and the list goes on and on. But me, I feel more complete when I have a sense of helping others. We are stewards of our church, and we're preserving it for the next generation. I'm going to invite you to be a steward too and give to our church. The money will go for the minister's salary, for office workers and the pianist, for the youth leaders, for the heating and the lighting of the church, to obtain hymnaries and see the candles. Yeah, to fill the candles with oil. When I give, I like to donate to help others because that makes me feel good. Donations help the tradition of maintaining our church building and our church community. Thank you.
Thank you to Sharon Hoekstra for serving as lay reader this morning. And if you would like to do that, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you for joining us. I hope being here has made a difference in your life. I know that your participation in our worship life, even in these strange days, makes a difference to this community. Let's go out with the words of the prophet Micah. What is it that God requires of us? To do justice, to love kindness, and to walk ever so humbly with our God. Perhaps even to thank someone normally unnoticed, to thank someone this week and share the gift of gratitude. Go in peace, friends. Our choir will sing us out.